Next week, the king is back, McGregor, Dustin Poirier, rematch. Don't need to set it up. You know the deal.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
You know, listen, I think Dustin Poirier has done an unbelievable job of really improving as a fighter and believing in himself. I think you always saw that potential in Dustin, and now we're actually seeing the mind connect with the body and the skills. And he's done amazing things in his career, has established himself as one of the best 155-pounders in the world, period. However, I do think that Conor McGregor, when he's motivated, when he's training, when he is trying to get that belt back, I think he's going to be a handful for anybody. I really believe that. I think he's going to be sharper. I think he's probably the more powerful striker, maybe more precise. And I think that, I think Conor is motivated right now. I truly believe that. I think Conor McGregor wins this fight. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win and win impressively. I don't know if he gets the finish, but I'd be leaning that way. I do think he's that much sharper than Dustin. Dustin is close, man, but I do think that boxing background gives Conor such an edge against most guys, so I do like Conor in that one for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I was watching last night or whenever it was, a couple of nights ago, and the speed of Conor's hands, you know what I mean? Of course, there's power.
Sharp, man.
It's so sharp and so precise, put it all together and, whatever his antics are outside of the octagon, whatever. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about him as a fighter and what he's capable of. And what he's capable of is absolute destruction on a mass level because he's so fucking good. Now, Dustin Poirier, to your point, is, incredibly tough. He's as tough as they come, and he's got better, and he was young at the first match, but so was Conor. All right, maybe he was at the wrong weight class, but maybe so was Conor. Maybe he can take a punch better now at 145. Dustin never really connected on him, so that doesn't apply to Conor. So I think Dustin will take a better shot. I think if Dustin is going to have any chance of winning, he's going to get into the later rounds. But that's almost cliche to say at this point, you know what I mean? Because getting into the later rounds is the hard part. That's what I said about Vitor Belfort. I'm like, it's easy. I'm just going to clinch him against the fence. I'm going to take him to the third round, and then he's fucked. And then 25 minutes later, I'm blind in one eye. It didn't really go down the way I wanted it. You know what I mean?
Right. It really does, man. Listen, the other thing I think that, Conor doesn't get a whole lot of credit for his versatility and his creativity in the octagon, too. I mean, the dude will do like a tornado kick, a spinning back kick, an elbow, shoulder strikes. He's very good on the fly and in the moment. He's creative with his body, and I think that's another little wrinkle that I don't think we've seen from Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is kind of, and it doesn't mean he's not a great fighter, he's an awesome fighter, but more your rice and beans, solid fundamentals. But I just think that Conor is a little bit past that.
I'll see your rice and beans and what was it? Rice and beans, and I'll give you meat and potatoes. Are you good for a few more minutes, Kenny?
Yeah, man. Yeah, whatever you need.
All right, Harrington, do you have a few suitable topics to hammer fist us with?
Yeah, I mean, just to follow up to that one, McGregor has
no, I didn't say follow up, but go on, continue.
I think this counts as a hammer fisting topic.
I'm joking.
McGregor has talked out of both sides of his mouth with this one. He said first that he would finish Dustin Poirier within 60 seconds. He also said he's welcoming a war with the Louisiana native. Which one do you guys think it's going to be? An early finish for McGregor or an absolute slugfest?
I think he's luring Dustin Poirier to come forward and go crazy at him, so he can land one of those counter strikes. That's another thing. Is like it's rare that you see a guy with high level counter striking ability. The Israel Adesanyas, the Wonder Boys of the world. They have that next level counter striking ability. I think Conor possesses that as well. In order to do that, you need a willing dance partner who's going to come forward and crash into your strikes. And I think Conor's kind of, that's why Conor likes to poke at people. He's like, no, come at me, really, try to kill me so I can land my counter strike. So I think he's kind of playing head games with Dustin again.
Yeah. So, sorry, I was so enamored by Kenny and his amazing paint job in the room that I've forgotten what the question was. I'm like, that's a really solid paint. Are you at home, Kenny? I'm like, I like the color of that wall. What is that? Is that eggshell?
It's like a baby blue gray. I don't know what it is. I have no idea.
Quail egg? Hamilton, what was the question? Conor McGregor, will he get him out of there in 60 seconds?
60 seconds or a war?
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be 60 seconds. God, I feel sorry for Dustin Poirier if he does. Do you know what I mean? Because Dustin, he's just such a great guy, and he's doing so much good work with his foundation and things like that. And for him to go out there, listen, the reality is with Conor McGregor, that is on the table. It could be 60 seconds. He only needs one shot a lot of the time, but I don't think it is. I think Dustin's going to take a good shot. I think it is going to be a war. I think it's going to be a great fight. Harrington.
All right, let's see here. Sticking on the McGregor topic, this is the last one, I promise. WBC president Mauricio Suleiman says that McGregor needs just one win.
Mauricio Suleiman. Yes.
He needs just one win over a ranked opponent to start fighting for boxing belts. The quote is, I would say he needs to face and defeat a ranked fighter, then he would be eligible to be ranked and compete for a title. We have plenty of examples of Muay Thai fighters turned professional and international boxing, and they're eligible to fight for a title. This is not a rookie entering the sport. He's a long history of combat sports, so it's a different scenario of what we used to be in the past. My question for you is, right, McGregor, he's been rumored to be fighting Manny Pacquiao at some point over the summer. If he gets that win, do you see him fighting for an actual boxing title?
Well, if he fights Manny Pacquiao, that's as big as any title in the world anyway. You know what I mean? And if he beats Manny Pacquiao, then I of course, it's nice to have a title, but a win over Manny Pacquiao is as good as any boxing world title in the world, if you ask me. But still, I agree with what he said. You can't just go in there and fight for a world title, regardless of how big your star is. And we all know he's a massive star, and he would sell tons of pay-per-views, et cetera, et cetera. But still, you got to be proven. You got to be a proven entity in that sport. As of right now, he's got one loss. Okay, granted, to Floyd Mayweather, no shame. Right. Gave a very, very good account of himself. Looked good, landed some shots, did way better than what people expected. But yeah, that's how it should be. I think it would be a mockery to boxing, God forbid, for Conor to go over and fight for a title straight away. And that's why these commissions, not the commissions, these governing bodies are in place, to keep the sport on the straight and narrow. Unfortunately, in boxing, these same governing bodies stop a lot of the bigger fights from happening. And that's a whole political nightmare, but yeah, no, I like what I heard there, Kenny.
Yeah, listen, I think that I, as big of a fan as I am, and as much respect that I have for Conor and his mixed martial arts skills, I do think he's a special fighter. Boxing is different. Boxing is different, and I don't think he should go into a different sport. He's in the prime of his career right now. Stick to mixed martial arts. And yes, maybe you're not making as many millions of dollars as he would in boxing. I don't know. I don't like seeing guys kind of get out of their wheelhouse so much. I think, listen, it was a fun fight. It was a life-changing fight against Mayweather. He made a ton of money. It's awesome. But boxing isn't the best thing that he does. Is he good at it? Is he even, awesome at it? Yeah. Is he world champion boxing level? Probably not. So I don't know. I mean, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it to prove you're the better boxer? Are you doing it to prove, or are you doing it to make a lot of money? Hey, if you're going to make a lot of money, okay, that's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to speak for Conor McGregor. It's not like we're on the phone every week, far from it. But I think probably, money is definitely a motivating factor for him. But it would just, Conor's a guy, he fancies himself as a complete fighter. Sorry, doesn't fancy himself. He is a complete fighter. Yeah. But, that sounded a little disrespectful. That wasn't my intention. That's why I clarified. But having a boxing world title, to go with a UFC world title, it doesn't portray the image, but it does suggest that I'm a complete fighter. I can win at boxing. I can win at mixed martial arts. I can enter a jiu-jitsu tournament. And that's realistically, not realistically, but that's like the quest of being a true fighter. You can go into any realm and win. So I think that's part of the appeal for him, to say, listen, yeah, okay, I was a UFC world champion, but I can go off to boxing and become a champion there. The question remains, though, could he do that? I'm not sure if he could. I think a lot of MMA guys will do better against boxers than what people think. I've sparred a lot of boxers in the past, and I did okay. You know what I mean? But those top of the food chain guys in boxing, that's all they do, and the speed and the precision and the drills and everything that they do. It is on another level to the mixed martial arts world. Did you ever spar any serious boxers back in the day?
I did. I had a couple professional boxers that I used to spar with a little bit later in my career that I would use every single camp. And it was awesome. I mean, again, it's like I did great too. You know, but it's sparring. It's not a fight, and it wasn't strictly a boxing fight. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's a tough one for me. I think that, listen, he's fighting. If he would fight a Manny Pacquiao, those are the rumors. Of course, it's not Manny Pacquiao in his prime. However, it's still a devastating puncher and power guy in Manny Pacquiao. And, you know, build-wise, Manny isn't the biggest dude, but Conor would definitely be a lot bigger. But, hey, so is Mayweather. You know, right? Mayweather's a lot smaller, too. So, again, for me, I would like to see Conor compete at his best in mixed martial arts. And, you know, he's an unbelievable fighter, an absolute legend, a champion mixed martial arts fighter. And then to see him go 0-2 as a professional boxer, it's like, I don't know. That's what it is for me.
No, you're right. You raise a good point, though, because it's not a good look for the UFC, essentially. I mean, I know people are smart enough to differentiate and say, listen, well, he came over there, he gave it a shot, but still,